Hello, this is Michael speaking. Today I'm going to tell you an amazing story about the time I first had my son, or my wife, I should say, had my son. So it's an amazing thing. There's nothing like human life coming into this world, and that whole process, that whole experience it changed me. It changed who I am, and so I'm just going to give you a detailed story about it. And so I work at Nationwide. I worked a night shift. I came home from a 16-hour shift, exhausted. I come home. We eat dinner. I eat dinner with my wife when I come home, so we can have some time to talk. I can debrief about work and everything. Not long afterwards, we go to bed, and I start talking to the baby. I say, "Hi, this is Daddy." And I always talk with the baby every evening, so they can get used to my voice. And it wasn't 2 minutes later that my wife's water breaks. She runs to the bathroom, barely makes it. We don't know if the water broke or not. My wife's never been pregnant before. I don't know much about pregnancies. I know everything's been going great. Everything's been going fine. She's been taking her prenatals. With the midwife has been checking off on everything. But the water breaks. It's only 8 months during the pregnancy. We're supposed to have a baby another month from now. But once the water breaks, we call the midwife. We say, "Hey, the water broke here. Are we having the baby?" She says, "Come on in. We just actually had a baby delivered not 2 hours ago." So we came into the office about 15 minutes from our home. And she does the check and everything and says, no, you're not having a baby, not tonight. It's probably just pre-something, something before, just your body getting ready to have the baby. This definitely isn't the pregnancy labor tonight. So just go home, try to relax, try to calm back down. It's normal to have pre-contractions before pregnancy a month ahead of time too. So we come home, I'm exhausted once again, so I conk out. And the doctor gives us a call not like an hour and a half later and said, "I'm mistaken. You're going to have a baby tonight. There is this fluid in here that signifies that you're going to have the baby." So, my adrenaline goes off. I'm like, wow, we're going to have the baby. My wife, of course, is starting contractions closer together. I get my pen out. I get my paper out. I get a notebook out. And I start taking down each time she's having contractions, how long it is at the half. Is there anything I can get you? Water, and we're getting ready for this. We've rehearsed this. Here we come. Here comes the baby. So we're excited, and holding her hand in between contractions. She's holding mine. It's an exciting time, but the contractions are hurting. So the doctor said, just wait for a few hours until she gets wider and gets ready to have the baby. So we do that, and I read some scripture to her, or just trying to keep everything calm. I'm still exhausted, so I'm not all with it. So we're driving to the doctor's office. After she's been in contractions, been in labor for a little while, and it was a deep fog. I mean, a thick fog. So I'm creeping, and by the time we get there, she's ready. She's ready to have the baby. She's 10 centimeters. The doctor says, "Wow, this went fast. Everything's going great. Everything's going smooth. Just one thing." My wife decided to have the baby actually in a tub of water, a bathtub. She said it was making her feel better. I'm like, fine. You're having the baby. Not me. Whatever you want is what I'm going to try to help you with today. So, she's in the bathtub having the labor. I'm encouraging her, trying to get her to breathe slowly, breathe calmly. And out comes the baby after a period of, I don't know, 2.5 hours. It seemed like forever. I'm sure it seemed much longer for my wife. And out comes the baby. Everything's looking fine except for the baby's very gray, very white. I didn't expect that, although apparently that's normal for the baby to be gray to an extent with fluids on him and everything from pregnancy. But I mean, he's white. And the other thing was he wasn't crying. And at that point, it scared both of us. I tried to look on my face, not a scare of worry, to give my wife encouragement. And then we realized what has happened was the cord from my wife to the baby broke. And so at that point, the entire tub of water that my wife is in fills with dark red blood and bright red blood as well. And it was just scary, but I'm trying to keep composure, telling my wife, God gives, baby. God can take away the baby. It's not ours anyways. It's a gift from God. And that's my belief. And that's it was comforting my wife. It was comforting myself. But at the same time, you're worried. It's definitely a trial that God's putting us through. And so the nurse grabs the baby, starts giving him oxygen. It doesn't seem to help a whole lot. My son's still very gray. David was still gray. And my wife, of course, is still bleeding. So I pick her up out of the tub. I bring her over to a bed. So that way another nurse can start working at getting that placenta out of her. Thank God that they did get the placenta out of her. She didn't bleed too much internally from the blood from the cord. And my son didn't lose too much blood. They didn't have to transmit any blood to him. So thank God for that. But, it was a very scary time. It's a time that I remember like it was yesterday. It was a life-changing thing. The EMTs, the paramedics rushed in. They saved the day. They actually put him on oxygen, my son on oxygen. They brought him to the ambulance. I went with my son. My wife asked me to, and I get in there, and the baby's on. They put him in the incubator. They run an IV to him. They run oxygen to him. My son all of a sudden has color in his body. He starts crying. I hear a nice strong cry. My wife heard it. I'll never forget the look on her face when she heard my son's first cry, and it was the best sound I've ever heard in my life. It's like he's alive. And that's a great thing. We get to the hospital. Make a long story short, we were in there for 2 days. Nothing major went on. The doctors didn't need to give him any extra blood. But man, you have a baby, or my wife had a baby, brought him into this world. It was an amazing experience that I'll never forget. Before and after David is amazing. I'm a proud father now of a son who was born at no, he was like 8 pounds. I'm sorry, I shouldn't forget that, but born on September 1st, and that's a story that changed my life. I just wanted to share that with you. Hopefully, you enjoyed it, and have a great day.